Hi, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Feldman here, and I am going to help you today with your math review. So if you want to go get your math review paper, we're going to work through some of the problems together. All right, go get your math and a pencil and an eraser, and I'll meet you here in a few. All right, boys and girls, we are going to write the correct word in the blank here. So if you have a pencil, make sure you have it ready because, I might be helping you just a teensy-weensy bit with the answers. All right, number 1, to identify the value of the digit 9 in the numbers 976, 93, and 9, use what you know about, is it place value, regroup, or subtract? Which one sounds right and which one is it? Do you know? Did you look in your glossary? Ding, 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 ding! Place value. That is right. Number 2, you can blank to find the difference. Is it regroup or is it subtract? Good job. Subtract to find the difference. To find the difference between two numbers, you subtract. Number 3, to take a number apart and write it a new way is to regroup. There you go. Nice job, boys and girls. All right, on number 4 and number 5, see if you can do those together while I get ready for our next activity. All right, boys and girls, before we move on to some subtraction problems, I thought it would be a good time to review our subtraction poem. So let's say it with me if you know it. More on top, no need to stop. More on the floor, go next door and get 10 more. Numbers the same, zero's the game. All right, boys and girls, I thought it'd be kind of fun to go outside and do some sidewalk math. So I'm going to use sidewalk chalk, and if you have a clipboard, bring your math paper out or a book, and we'll do some of the problems together. If you want to do it on sidewalk chalk, you can do that. Maybe take a picture after you're finished so that your teachers know that you did the sheet. See you in a second. Do some sidewalk math. What is 800 minus 400? Okay, we have the 2 zeros right here, so we don't need to do anything. Just bring that 0 down. 2 zeros right here. Don't need to do anything. Don't need to borrow. Then we have an 8 on top. So we don't need to borrow from this empty column. So 8 take away 4. There we go. 400. All right, let's move on. I got 900 minus 600. Same thing. I can drop my zeros. Drop my zeros. And then what is 9 minus 6? 300. Moving on. 773 minus 100. On this column right here, I have 3 minus 0, so I don't need to borrow. So I have 3. Then I have 7 minus 0 in the second column. I do not need to borrow, I just need to bring down that 7. Then I have 7 minus 1, which is 673. Moving on. My next column right here, I have 261 minus 10. We're getting lucky. We don't have to do any borrowing right now. Bring that 1 down, and then 6 minus 1 is 5. Since I didn't have to borrow in the 100s column, just bring that 2 down. 261 minus 10 is 251. 938 minus 329. So it looks like right here, I don't have more on top. So I need to borrow because I have more on the floor, so I need to go next door. So I'm going to make that a 2. See how I borrowed right there? So then I'm going to do 18 minus 9. 9. And I have 2 and I have 2. So I don't need to borrow from this column. So I'm going to bring down the 0. Oops, sorry. Then I have 9 take away 3. There we go. All right, let's go to this last math problem on the sidewalk chalk. 885 minus 16. Oops, I don't have more on top. So I need to go next door and borrow 10 more. My sidewalk chalk is not working. Sorry, okay. And then 7 minus 1, take that. We have 6. I did not need to borrow, so I can bring that right down. So 869. All right, boys and girls, we're gonna do some more problems in some shaving cream. I have 357. Oops, no, it's not working. Minus 189. There's my line. All right, more on top, no need to stop. I don't have more on top though, I have a 7. So I need to make this a 17, but I have to borrow 10s from the tens column. So I'm going to cross this off and make this a 4. Okay, so now I'm going to go 17 minus 9. Do you know what that is? No, it's an 8. 8. All right, but over here, now I have a 4. This is a 4. Can you see it? Let's use my finger. That's a 4. So is this more on top? Uh-oh, it's not. So I have to go next door and borrow 10 more. So I'm going to cross this 3 out. I'm going to make him a 2. And then I have to make this a 14 then. See, I have to make it a 14. So what is 14 minus 8? Do you know? Do you know? Good, you're right, 6. All right, so I put 6 at the bottom. And then since I had to borrow, now I have more on top. So I can stop. So what is 2 minus 1? That is 1. So it's 168. Can you see that, boys and girls? All right, boys and girls, I would like to look at problems 15, 16, and 17 together. So I'm going to do those with you on my whiteboard. All right, boys and girls, for 15, 16, and 17, you are supposed to rewrite the equation, and you need to put the numbers somewhere here. So if you get confused when you're looking at this chart and where things go, just think in your mind and to yourself that this column right here, all the way on the right side, is like the ones column. This in the middle is the tens column. And this over here on the left side with a subtraction number, that is the, do you not see that? Oops, you don't. That is the hundreds column. So for number 15, it says 385 minus 166. So 385, 385. Just like that. Minus 100, it's in the hundreds column, 66. All right, so now we need to think about that poem of ours. Is there more on top or is there more on the floor? There's more on the floor, so we have to go next door to borrow 10 more. So I'm going to borrow from that 8, and I'm going to put 10 more right there. So right here on this column, now I have 15 minus 6. Do you know what that is, boys and girls? 9, you're right, 9. Now I have 7 minus 6. I have more on top, so I don't need to go borrow. I can stop. 7 minus 6 is 1, and then 3 minus 1 is 2. So the answer is 219. All right, moving on to the next one. It was 247 minus 189. So 2, 4, 7 minus 189. All right, boys and girls, let's look at this ones column right here because we always start on the ones column. Do I have more on top? Nope. So I have to borrow from my friend over here in the tens column. Oops, sorry. Borrow, and then this is going to be 17. So 17 minus 9 is 8. Right here. 3 minus 8, I can't have a lower number on top. So I have to go over here to borrow from his buddy to borrow 10. So I have to make that a 1, and then I have to borrow. So that's 13 minus 8. 13 minus 8 is 58. All right, look at this though. I have a 1 and a 1. So 1 minus 1 is going to be 0, but you don't need to write the 0. It's 58 is the answer. All right, nice job, boys and girls. Go ahead and try number 17 by yourself. See how you do. All right, boys and girls, now we are going to look at the Brain Builders page together. Let's look at 21. It says there are 620 buttons. 200 of them are square. 100 are oval. The rest are round. How many buttons are round? So think about this problem. What do we need to do first? What would you do first? Well, I would definitely take what we know, and we know that there are 200 square and 100 oval. So I'm going to help you do this problem on the whiteboard. All right, boys and girls, we are going to do the Brain Builder together. I just read the problem to you, and I told you that I would probably add our 200 square and our 100 oval buttons together to figure out how we are going to subtract to find the answer. So 200 plus 100 equals 300. Okay, I added those. I had to add those to figure out how many buttons we had so far that were oval or square. But now that we know we have a total of 620 buttons, total we have is 620. And then there are 300 buttons of miscellaneous shapes and sizes. So we need to find out, though, how many are round, because it said the rest of them are round. So 300 are square and oval, and then the rest are round. So we are going to subtract the 300 that we found right here from the 620. So 0 minus 0, we know is 0. Right? Can you not see that? There we go. And then 2 minus 0 is 2. And then 6 minus 3 is 3. So that answer would be 320 buttons. 320 buttons are round. All right, let's look at number 22. Clara had 359 pennies. She lost some of the pennies. Now she has 266 pennies. How many pennies did Clara lose? Do you know how you would set that problem up? Well, I want you to think about it and then join me back at the whiteboard. All right, boys and girls, Clara has 359 pennies. She had 359 pennies, and she lost some of them. So she now only has 266 left. So we need to figure out how many she lost. So how I would set this problem up, how you should set it up is 359 minus, 266. 266. Okay, so we're going to figure out how many she lost right here. So it's 9 minus 6 is 3. And then, oh, there's not more on the top. So we have to go next door because there's more on the floor, remember? All right, so I had to borrow. So I have 15 right here. 15 take away 6. 93. Clara lost 93 pennies. All right, boys and girls, now that we've practiced doing your review pages together, I'd like you to try to tackle that reflect page by yourself. Try to do that on your own. And I think if you look over your work, you will for sure be ready for your chapter test tomorrow. We can't wait to see your work and keep it up.